Oh, what is up, you guys? We are back today with another beer review. And would you believe me if I told you it was another snowy day here in Colorado? Because it seems like every time I do a beer review, it's like snowing. And that may be coincidental because I like to drink stouts and heavier beers on days when we have winter weather. Okay, so here we have a fun one. I actually didn't really expect to see this. This is Timber Ales blended with lumber, number 6, barrel blended imperial stout conditioned on coffee and coconut. And I'm a big fan of the can. I think it's really cool. Just a super basic label, the way that the label is supposed to look like an aluminum can or something like that. And most of their cans are like that. Like they're just like very one dimensional. And I thought that was cool. I think I just dig that personally. Heard a lot of really good things about these beers. My own personal experience with Timber has been not the best. And I haven't had a ton of beers from Timber. I've only probably like a couple. But the last one I had was like not this last Halloween a few months ago, the one like a year and a few months ago. So 2023 Halloween. It was an imperial stout with pumpkin and like vanilla or something like that. And I don't believe it was barrel aged. And oftentimes, beers with pumpkin can have astringent flavors. And for me, I thought it tasted horrible. I thought it was not a great beer. And friend had that same beer, and he liked it. So this beer, I did pull up the Untapped so that we can read about the beer as we drink it. Gotta give it a smell. Not a ton of aroma just from that, but so pours thick. Not motor oil, but definitely thicker than a handful of the stouts that I've reviewed lately, or any of the barrel aged stuff. So it smells very different than what I expected. It's not a bright coffee. I just had a coffee stout the other day, or I should say espresso, and it helps me, I think, realize that I prefer the espresso flavor over just steeping a beer on coffee. I think it's got to be that particular type of coffee. Either way, it's not the smell that I expected. It's like very, very pastry, very cakey. I figured it would be kind of pastry, almost like the German chocolate cake. And it's funny I say that because the other German chocolate cake beer I have upstairs from FH is also has coffee in it. And I feel like typically German chocolate cake stouts are chocolate, coconut, vanilla. I don't normally see coffee. So it's interesting. Let's give it a taste before I read the description. Yeah, it's quite thick, coats your whole mouth. I mean, it's really nice. Need another go. Yeah, this is one of those beers that you want almost like a really nice whiskey or something. You really want to get it all up. You want to get it up in the cheeks and you want to get it all around the tongue so that you can get the full amount of flavor out of it. The coffee's very roasty. So rather than being a little bit more of like that bitterness that comes through, it's a lot roastier, which I think is friendly to this type of stout. And then the coconut is like not as present. The coconut is very well hidden behind the coffee, yet very still present. It's like the coffee's right up here and the coconut is just right behind it, and it's creating a very nice sweetness. This is a lot more reminiscent to me to like a Mounds bar, that flavor of coconut, like very, it's like kind of confectiony coconut, like the coconut you would get in like a candy bar at the store. It tastes a lot like that, and it is definitely an interesting flavor to have in a beer like this, because when I hear coffee coconut, like I think back to the coffee coconut Medianoche, which I don't think tastes like this at all. This is a lot different. So this is Untapped. It's 13.4%. It has a 4.41 rating on Untapped, which is fairly high, with 193 ratings. Blended with Lumber is our barrel blended Imperial Stout series. And again, this is the first one I've had out of the series. I've seen quite a few. Blend number 6 features 1/3 Imperial Stout aged for 26 to 30 months in a variety of Willet Family Estate single barrels, blended with 2/3 fresh Imperial Stout. The finished product was then conditioned on toasted coconut and coffee. So it only got 1/3 of barrel blended stout, but it's been aged for over 2 years in some really nice barrels. And again, they are known for having some pretty good imperial stouts. I've got friends that say Timber is up there when it comes to stouts. Give it to them. The one I had I didn't like. That's fine. They blended this 2/3 with fresh imperial stout, so they probably have a really good solid stout base that I'd love to try someday, and then finished it on the coconut and coffee. And I'm guessing that pretty much all of these blended with lumber beers, because of the name, are just base stouts blended with something that is barrel aged. And because of that, I don't get a ton of barrel, which is, again, it's fine. I think because this can is $8, so $7.99 for 12-ounce can. I think this is right in line with what my expectations were. Would I like a little bit more barrel, a little bit more bourbon? I think that would be very nice. But this is a very, very great beer. I mean, it's very pastry-like. It's very confectiony. It reminds me of quite a few beers I've had in the past that I thought were excellent. And I think this beer is excellent. I think this beer is definitely up there with one of the best stouts I've had so far this year. And I'm a big fan of Adjunct, and so when I saw Coffee Coconut, which are like two of my favorites, like, gotta jump on this, gotta get it. Very happy with how this beer sits on my palate. Highly recommend, like I said, swish it around, get that flavor. This is not a beer that I'm gonna drink quickly, or I think anybody should drink quickly, and mostly because of the viscosity. If this was a little bit thinner, this flavor could be somewhat towards the crushable end, where I could see myself drinking this out a bit quicker, even for the ABV being over 13%. Again, I've said many times, if you can find a stout, barrel-aged, sure, maybe it's not the whole beer that's barrel-aged, but under $1 an ounce for a beer this good, I think is a great price. I got this at Coltrane. If Coltrane has this, there's probably a few other places in town that have it, places around Denver that have it. I think it's worth trying. It's the first blended with lumber that I've actually seen locally here in Colorado Springs. Give it a try. I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you enjoy coffee coconut stouts as much as I do, and you go out and try this beer and let me know what you think. So, and I'll see you guys on the next one.